Good evening and welcome to the Zoning Commission regular meeting held on October 10th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in Brookfield Town Hall, room 133, 100 Pocono Road. If you all stand up, join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag for the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like the members of the commission to introduce themselves, starting from my left.
Dionisio Fontana, alternate.
Gwen Arment, regular member.
Kurt Timmerman, chairman.
Sean Turner, secretary.
Matt Grimes, member.
I'd like to note that Vice Chair Anthony Papucci and alternate Greg Petrione is absent tonight. So the first, and for seating of alternates, I'd like to ask Danny Fontana to sit for the 100 Pocono Road 5A, and let's see, what else?
Everything except 7A.
Yeah, oh, I'm looking at wrong one. Yes. Put that away. Yes. Yep, that's right. Everything except 7A. So that's good for you, Danny?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So the next 2A, zoning enforcement officers report. I trust everybody got their copy and looked at it either online or in front of them.
When do you sleep, Fran?
Yeah, you see, we like to move them up from one section to the others. Fun now. And when I looked at it, I saw 118 Pocono, 7 White Pine, and 6 Newbridge Road. And I know you sent out notice of violations.
Where are you?
I would think-
What page are you on, Kurt?
Oh, this is on notice of violations, first page. 118 Pocono, 7 White Pine, and 6 Newbridge Road. I think they could go, if you don't get a response from them, they could go to cease and desist.
So I'll make a motion to direct ZEO to issue cease and desist if no compliance on, what are we doing, 118 Pocono?
Yep.
7 White Pine Drive?
Yep.
And 6 New Bridge, if no compliance by 10/31.
All right, do I have a
Second.
Oh, thank you, Gwen. Any discussion on that? Anything else in the notice of violations that anybody thought we should move up to the next stage?
Yeah, I do, I'm on this, I'm under cease and desist.
Oh, okay, let's move to that next.
Oh.
All right, all in favor of moving these notice of violations to the next step of cease and desist? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, nay? Abstentions? Okay, is unanimous. All right, in the cease and desist list?
I do notice that there is some proactivity, or so it seems, on 77 Vale. However, that's been, that particular issue has been out there for some time.
Yes, and
As we
right,
know.
yeah.
So what I'm gonna do on 77 Vale, 35 Hidden Brook, and
Yeah.
327 Candlewood Lake, or I'm gonna make a motion to direct ZEO to issue citation if no compliance by 10/31.
All right, that's what I had on my list. Anybody else have anything else on the cease and desist list?
So,
All right, a second on that?
Second.
This time. Sean's turn.
Mr.
And-
Chairman, if I could
yeah.
just say one thing, on
Yes.
that 35 Hidden Brook, if you notice when you go to the next page on the citation page, it's on there.
Yeah.
That one on
but for that particular issue though.
was, no, for that particular issue, correct. And because our fines, we had to remodify to comply with $150 a day, that one was under the old
Oh.
plans. So by moving, what I did was I restarted it.
Can he get a second citation for that issue then?
Yes.
Okay, so, and I will just note in the motion then that this 35 Hidden Brook, if it does go to citation on 10/31, it's in and of apart from the current citation.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But, so the motion is that they all go to citation on after 10/31.
All right, Matt brought the motion, Sean seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nay? Abstentions? That was unanimous. And then the last one's, oh, yes.
The green knoll, do we know where that is?
Yes, well, I think
It's
we,
in
we
litigation,
should,
but-
yes, in litigation, I think we should, schedule an executive session with the attorney when he can, meet with us. And so we can discuss doing something
The
about that.
state's involved with that somehow, aren't they?
No, I think the state was involved with the 58 Old Graysbridge Road,
Oh, I'm sorry,
yeah. So,
jeez.
yeah, so the land use will contact Tom when's the next time he can come in front of us, and we'll schedule an executive session on
Great.
the agenda to talk about that specific
Great.
one. And the only other ones I had, 58 Graysbridge Road, I have a question, have they?
On the last page?
Yes, these are things that are currently in citation now, and I know Fran noted that they were gonna have a lien put on it, I believe. Are they in compliance with the fire department? Are the fire department happy now with the sprinklers and everything else? That's
No,
still an
We're
outstanding?
still building and, fire issues there.
Okay,
Yeah. There's
What
no
is, what is it?
so this was
And they have the excavators out there, don't they?
this was, he was remediating the site. It was the old Rapid Power, and it had PCB oils in the ground. And so he was held up for quite some time because of change of his environmental guy, plus the deep getting back to him. In the meantime, while he's waiting for that, he had Lesser Evil rent a portion of that facility for warehouse.
Oh.
But he doesn't have a CO.
Mm.
And part of the problem, he doesn't have a CO, sprinkler system wasn't working, the fire alarms, things that you need to have correct in order to get a CO to actually do anything there. So he's in violation because he's not allowed to have anybody renting from him. And so it continues, and so we moved up citation. He's got quite a bit in citations right now.
He does, yeah.
And then if you read on the report, they're gonna put a lien on the property because of the fees. He had written a letter, a
What is
couple
he owe
meetings
right
ago.
now?
I want to say it's probably close to 112,000.
But before he was fined here, though, he was fined by the building department, right?
No.
No?
Deep.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So, I know he had requested to waive the fees, but he's still got a problem with the site. It's not ready to have a CO still.
He's still
But-
occupying the site, still using it.
Yeah, I saw a Lesser Evil truck go there
Yeah,
yesterday, so. And then the only other one, was an update on 636 Federal Road.
Yeah, I forgot to take that off the report.
Oh.
Myself and the fire marshal, we were both there. The individual that was in that space had everything wrapped up, and was moving out. There was no violation at that time because he was removing everything from the site. Obviously, there's been more complaints and,
What is the landlord's position on this?
the landlord's position is he wants the tenant out of there. And I told him the other day he needs to change the locks. Otherwise, that would get the town attorney involved and seek a court injunction to get him out or do whatever he's got to do. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's been ongoing for a long time.
It's not only disrespectful to the neighbors, but to the other tenants in that complex. There are a lot of tenants in that complex.
are.
I think that they would like that particular.
No, and I'm sure the neighbors would too that live, in
Right behind him, yeah.
I mean, 5 o'clock in the morning, they're out there revving motorcycles and blowing off fireworks in people's driveways. I mean, it's out of hand.
Was anybody arrested there?
I do not know.
Oh.
I do not know. But I've made numerous complaints to the PD, and obviously it's in one ear out the other.
All right, anything else in the report? Anybody has, want to get some information?
Fine.
All right, we have no correspondence that came in today. Well, actually, some correspondence went out. I sent a letter to Ms. Lorraine Lavery, Council President, Prince of Peace Lutheran Church, as per our motion last time.
Can nothing be done about that? Nothing?
Not from our standpoint. It's really
Did we make any promises?
No, I mean.
no, we don't have any purview over,
I think the position is that the town attorney opined on the issue, and we're in concurrence with the town attorney's opinion.
No, I understand that,
but we don't have any control over what they should have or
It's
should
not,
not have
it's
done
not in
in
the
their
body,
deed.
it's not in our body of law.
Yeah. All right, review the minutes of September 26th. Does anybody have any changes or anything like that? And I'll take a motion to accept.
The only thing that I had was, I wish I had the line, it's down, I had a copy of it. It's in the discussion on the moratorium where, we're talking about, or no, it was in the discussion on the motion we're voting on tonight.
Yep.
Where, the issue, where I asked Attorney Beecher about how the litigation, if we were to wind up in federal court, it would
Yes.
not be KERMA funded, which is in
Yeah.
there. What was not in the minutes was I asked if we would be required, if we were not successful, would be required to pay plaintiffs' counsel's fees and costs, and Attorney Beecher responded, yes, we would. That's not in the minutes.
All right,
It is on the tape, though, I listened to
Okay.
it again.
all right. So we'll add that to, I'll have to look up the line later.
Yeah, I don't have my copy in front of me,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I don't either.
Me either. First time.
Anybody else find any other corrections? Do I have a motion to accept the amended minutes?
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Thank you, Sean. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Gwen. Any questions on the amended motion? Nope. All in favor? Aye. Nay? And abstentions? No. Unanimous. All right, thank you. Next one is 5A, continued public hearings. This is 100 Pocono Road, application Z-24-42. It's a continued public hearing for the regulation change and text amendments regarding various changes, including those related to Public Act 23-142. We opened this some time ago, and we had gone over it once already, and then some questions we wanted to cover, or at least I wanted to, and then we can ask whoever else on the commission would like to. But one was kitchen, and the definition, and what do we want to put down for kitchen. And then the only other thing I thought we should know is, and talk about, is the max size of a sign. And I asked Fran if he could get me the size of a couple signs around town, so we know, what does a certain size sign look like. So I'll read the kitchen one. The kitchen definition: an area or room containing a sink and or an appliance for cooking, and may also include a refrigerator for food storage and an area for food preparation, and such area or room may also include other appliances, including, but not limited to, a dishwasher and a microwave and or toaster oven. And then the max size sign, and actually I'll go through, before we go and discuss, I'll go through to see if anybody wants to speak clarification for and against. The sign, I think, was put forth at 60 square feet. Let me see if I can see.
What page?
Oh, 50 square feet. It was page 8 of 15. So under 6.4 permitted signs, the entry was to have a max size of sign 50 square feet. And I don't know what 50 square feet looks like, so I asked Fran to find out what the Gymnastics Revolution sign size is. That's the one near Del Primo.
Yeah.
That goes to sign.
Big.
I don't know how big that is, but that would be interesting to know. And the Extra Space sign, that's the one facing the road on that new Extra Space building, the one that's facing Graysbridge Road. So we can get an idea of, well, are these bigger than 50, smaller? What does 50 look like?
Yeah, it's big.
Well, they're in inches.
It's not small.
No. Yeah. So,
But you belong here.
hmm?
You belong here.
Oh. So the one on the building, this is, and
I
I've
think
got
it basically gives you right there, does it?
227 plus 226 plus 35.
You're talking
'cause
about the
it'd be
one by the
Yeah.
road, though, aren't you? You're not talking about the one
Building signs, right?
The building signs, the signs on the
Both
building.
of- Oh, on the building.
on the building.
On the building. So the one on Gymnastics Revolution is 40.5 feet long by, well, it's the rectangle outlining the whole thing. So
By
the
80?
circle in the middle is
Right.
35. That's like 3 feet. So that's 120 square feet. That's what that is.
So this is 80,
That's
blue-
40.
80.
40
The
point.
lighter
This is
blue part?
40.6.
the whole
You
thing.
talking the sign in the building?
Yeah, the building.
With
Where?
the circle, right?
Yeah, with a circle. So a rectangle
40.
around that is 40.5 feet long by about 3 feet high. You're talking 110, 120 square feet. That's what 110, 120 square feet look like.
And according to their application, Mr. Chairman, their building frontage is 250 linear feet of
Right.
frontage, so they're technically allowed,
Twice as big.
yeah, a
If they-
side,
yeah.
yeah, 1-to-1 ratio.
And the extra space storage sign, the one facing, I guess the north elevation.
It's 355.
And how big is that sign? The sign doesn't look that big compared to the length of the building.
It's 244 square feet.
Really, that sign?
Yeah, for sign C?
Wow.
I think, are you looking at C?
Yeah, that's what I was, B faces the highway.
Yeah, you could see it, I think the idea is that you could see it from the highway.
Yeah, I was wondering what the one that faces the road that everybody in town sees, and that's pretty big.
That's A, isn't it? No.
That's C.
C, it's,
Yeah,
A is the one that faces 67 Federal Road.
right.
That corner.
wow, that's bigger than I thought. I mean, so all right. So we have those numbers. So is there any questions of? So with the signs and all the changes that we have here, some related to Public Act 23-142, which is for daycares and stuff, and other ones like the 50 square foot for the building sign, definition for a kitchen. We have stormwater changes to make it compliant with the state regulations, and other changes also to make it align with the state. That's 23-142. Is there any questions or clarification from commission before
Yeah.
I turn it to the audience?
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Frank.
So is this allowed?
These are allowed right now. And what we're looking at is, should we limit it to 50 square feet? Which, the extra space sign you said was
244.
355.
355
It
square.
This
could be-
one.
It could be.
Oh, no, yeah, but what is it?
Is that B?
Sign C.
Sign C,
Is 244.
Right.
244.
And B is 3 something?
B is 336.
Jeez.
All right, I don't know what you guys, I mean, to me, on that, the 1C doesn't look out of character for the building. It doesn't scream, I'm gigantic, only because the building is so long. But,
Gigantic.
Huh?
The building is gigantic.
yes, the building is gigantic.
No, I think you're
But,
talking about
but aren't we
proportionally.
talking about the aesthetics for the town?
Yes, we are. And
So
that
we can't
doesn't-
really see, this faces what?
This faces the road as you go by. That's the one you see. Have you driven by it
Yes.
recently?
It's
And
big.
this one right here.
It's big. It's
It's
hits you in the face.
244 square feet.
Yeah. And I go, wow, is that what
The
we
signs
want?
that are on Federal Road, isn't, in addition to our local requirements, don't they have to be DOT compliant as well?
Not that I know
Not
of.
that
no.
one, no.
I thought that they had to be, I thought it had something to do with the sign can't block
Oh, we have,
something pulling out into traffic or
yeah, we have
Yeah.
setbacks.
With the
Yeah.
setback 35 feet from the edge of the road.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, the ones on the, when I look at the gymnastic one,
Mhm.
that looks overly large, even though it's a much
You're
smaller.
talking about the one
business.
on the road, or you're talking about the one on the building?
The building, these are building signs. It looks so much bigger than, it looks oversized for the building that it's on. Even though it's allowed, and it could be twice as big. And yet, when I look at the extra space one, I'm like, hey, that's,
I think that's just how the layout of the extra space one, because it's one or the other.
yeah.
Or Gymnastics Revolution is just long and wide.
Well, when you, correct, when you calculate the size, it's a smallest rectangle around all the words. So even if you moved it out, you wouldn't get the leading spacing top to bottom, but you would still get a longer sign, so you might still end up at 244 square feet.
The signs on this and the signs on this, are they illuminated at nighttime?
The,
Not the one, it might have,
Like this one facing the highway, is that illuminated at
yeah,
nighttime?
oh, yeah.
yeah, from the
Good one,
back,
yeah.
yeah. But the gymnastic one, I think they just have signs shining on it, I mean lights shining on it.
Goosenecks.
Yeah, goosenecks, yeah, like all the ones on that. So,
This one, when I go by, it just hits me in the face.
Now,
Like,
remember-
boy, there's a big building and
From
there's a
the
big
highway?
sign.
From the highway, you mean?
On the road.
no, on the road, Grays Brick.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah.
Is that one lit up at night, the one that faces Grays Bridge Road?
Oh, no, I
The
haven't-
336,
The,
Sign
uh,
B, sign
think
B,
this one.
C. I guess.
this one.
This one. I don't
And
know,
this is the one that hits you when you,
This is the one
No,
you see
this
from the
faces Fed-
highway. This
Ah.
one
it's
faces,
Federal Road. And-
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That
This
just
one's
seems big, too.
smaller.
I know, but
and this one is the one that faces Grays Brick
Grace
Road
Ridge.
when you drive
it
by.
just-
Well,
But this one looks so much bigger to
Yes.
me for the building than this one.
the problem with coming up with the right number is one size does not fit all when it comes to
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah. That's, and you know what? If we can't come up with something now, we can always strike it.
I mean, is there a guideline that most municipalities have when it comes to this, or?
How many monster buildings do we want with big
Well, they-
signs on them?
Well, the size of the building is another issue. I mean, I think we're talking about signage right now.
Exactly, but if you're saying in proportion to the building, if we have monster buildings, then you have to give them a big sign.
The longer building you have, the bigger sign you have.
But is
Right
that,
now, it's 1 square foot per lineal foot along the road. It doesn't have to be that, but maybe that's something best left to figure out what should we do down the, because this could take some doing.
mm-hmm,
Maybe we should look at some other regulations. To me, I guess what I'm getting to for me, 50 feet doesn't look very large.
no. 244, 336. And this is only 40 and a half by 2.
So that one's 110, 120 square feet. Though they could have one twice as big, because the building is actually much
Linear.
longer.
Mm.
But they sure did use up a lot of, well, they were constrained by that white thing, the panel they had. So, well, why don't we put this on the back burner for now? Is there anything else people have for clarification in any of the other regs?
On that kitchen definition.
Yeah.
My problem there on the, is a microwave or a toaster oven not an appliance for cooking?
Yeah, that's a good point. So, I guess when I think of cooking, I think of a permanent appliance.
Well, then you ought to say that. because-
Yes, I know,
'cause to
but we can.
Because to me,
yeah.
you're gonna take an office that's got a break room with a refrigerator and a microwave in it and call it a kitchen.
That's why, yeah. I think in deliberations but that's a good question. I also think
And
we need
what
some
you s-
clarification on what do you mean appliance for cooking?
Appliance for cooking.
Maybe it should be a little more defined, like a permanent appliance or permanently attached or non-portable or something like that. So you don't use your microwaves as, making it a kitchen.
Or a microwave doesn't make it a kitchen.
Right.
You could.
Well, for
In New
I
York.
I hope not.
In New York, we don't even have to give refrigerators or
Luckily, we're in
stoves.
Brookfield, Connecticut.
I hope not.
All right, so we can discuss that during deliberations if we close the public hearing tonight. Anything else, quick questions of clarification?
I don't know, before we close the public hearing, I mean, I almost, we've got no model regulation to work off of on the sign thing, do we?
No. I mean, during deliberations, we can strike stuff out. We can,
It's probably something, again, I mean, and I say this about zoning regulation changes all the time, there's something that constantly need to be looked at, like when they did the big overhaul in 2018.
Mhm.
That didn't mean that overhaul was gonna be permanent.
Yep.
You've gotta constantly look at them and put them on a regular cycle so that the commission, in its routine order of business, and when we become the Planning and Zoning Commission, is looking at this on a regular basis. So, for example, when you have the regulation that was written in 2018, and it's looked at in 2024, somebody can say, when they're looking at it in 2028, oh, wait a minute, it was looked at as recently as 2024, and no
Yeah.
one changed it.
And you know, speaking of signs, it might be a good time to revisit signs overall, not just building signs. Because, you know, that's the bane of Fran's existence is the feather flags and all sorts of other illegal signs. And we should relook at what kind of signs are out there, what to keep illegal, make legal for a short time, or, you know, sometimes people can have a grand opening, they can have a sign for a certain amount of time. What kind? And, you know, then the crazy air signs and the wavy man, or whatever they call that thing.
I mean, Brookfield zoning's been in the sign business since we banned Pizza Hut from having a red roof back in the late 1980s.
Well, that wasn't very nice. All right.
We did it because the guy came in and said, well, it's a sign, it's a logo. But that was the end of the red roof.
Okay, we'll put that on, we'll set that aside. Anything else before I open it to the audience, if anybody's cares? No? All right, is there any questions of deliberation from the audience on regulation changes? No? Would anybody like to speak in favor of these regulation changes from the audience? Anybody would like to speak in opposition? All right. So, well, any more questions from the commission? So we could jump into, we can deliberate tonight, or we can deliberate next week, or next time. And we can think about whether we want to drop out kitchen for now, drop out the sign for now, work on the kitchen and what it means to each of us, and then we can come to some sort of consensus next meeting and vote on the changes. Does that sound pretty good?
That's good.
All right. I'll take a vote. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public
All right, thank you,
public
Gwen.
hearing.
Second.
All right, thank you, Danny. Any discussion on closing the public hearing? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No, no abstentions? All right, unanimous. I'll take a motion to continue for deliberations for the next meeting.
Motion to continue deliberations on application Z-2442 to 1024.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Do I have a second?
1024-24.
Thank you, Glenn.
Second.
All in favor of continuing till deliberations till next meeting?
Aye.
All right. That was unanimous. All right. Next up, there's no public hearings to open. We have old business, 7A, Candlewood, 202 Candlewood Lake Road, application Z-24-38. We're in deliberations. Danny, you can't deliberate with us on this one or vote because you weren't impaneled when we started. The attorney has written up a resolution, so I'm going to read the resolution. Based on our consensus that we made last time in the last meeting. Town of Brookfield Zoning Commission approval of application for reasonable accommodations under ADA issued to Danbury Slovak Gymnastic Union, Sokol Inc., Sokol Club, and Jason D. Lewis Brookfield Memorial VFW Post 10201 Corporation. Project location 202 Candlewood Lake Road. Project description, application under Federal Americans with Disabilities Act for reasonable accommodations for property, subject to a special permit for a club in a residential zone. Permitted uses club, zoning district is R40, application receipt, June 27, 2024. The public hearing dates were August 8th, 2024, and September 12th, 2024, when the public hearing was closed. The expiration date per special conditions, authorized agent Andrea L. Gomes, Esquire. Authority and conditions. This approval of reasonable accommodations is issued, governed, and required by the Federal Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, 42 U.S. Code Section 12101 et seq. This approval is subject to the general and special conditions and the plans, drawings, and documents constituting the approved plans as set forth hereinafter. Resolved to approve with conditions, application for approval of reasonable accommodations under Federal with Disabilities Act, subject to the conditions imposed for the continuation of the reasonable accommodations. In making this decision, the Commission acknowledges that the applicants sufficiently established, 1, that the applicants, through members of each organization, have disabilities, 2, that the accommodations approved herein are reasonably necessary to accommodate those members and their disabilities, and 3, that the reasonable accommodations will not fundamentally or unreasonably alter or undermine the nature and purpose of the applicable zoning regulations generally. Accordingly, the following specific reasonable accommodations are approved subject to the conditions specified herein. 1, 48 on-site parking spaces as shown on the following plan. Existing/proposed improvement location survey prepared for the Danbury Slovak Gymnastic Union so-called depicting property at 202 Candlewood Lake Road, Brookville, Connecticut. Revised to June 14th, 2024, showing 11 designated handicap parking spaces with red dots, specifically excluding the southeasternmost parking spot located closest to the road. Said additional parking spaces above and beyond those permitted by the existing special permit shall have a base of millings or gravel, no pavement. 2, additional exterior lighting as shown on the plan entitled Danbury Slovak Gymnastic Union so-called dated 8/15/2024. Said lighting shall comply with the Brookfield zoning regulations, shall be full cutoff dark sky compliant, and shall not permit any light trespass onto any abutting properties. Said lights shall be permitted to be on from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. with the exception that for any required property cleanup, the lights may be extended as early as 7 and as late as 11 p.m. Lights shall be on a timer with motion sensors. 3, a sign shall be permitted not to exceed 16 square feet per Federal Highway Administration Manual on uniform traffic controls as outlined in memorandum from Hinckley Allen dated September 5th, 2024. The sign shall not be illuminated. Conditions of approval. In addition to the requirements set forth above, approval is conditioned upon the following. 1, compliance with the plans and documents constituting the approved plans identified as follows. First bullet point, only bullet point. Existing/proposed improvement location survey prepared for the Danbury Slovak Gymnastic Union so-called depicting property at 202 Candlewood Lake Road, Brookville, Connecticut, revised to June 14th, 2024, showing 11 designated handicap spaces with red dots, specifically excluding the southeastmost parking space located closest to the road. Standard conditions. The applicants, their successors or assigns hereinafter applicants, shall also comply with the following standard conditions. 1, prior to the initiation of any site work in conjunction with this approval, erosion and sedimentation control measures shall be installed in accordance with the 2002 Connecticut Guidelines for Soil Erosion and Sediment Control as directed by the land use staff, and as follows. And there's 3 sections, A, B, and C, which are standard. I won't read them here. This will be available. 2, bond completions of site improvements, including the parking areas and any landscaping in accordance with the approved plans as final as-built survey shall be filed with land use office. 3, all exterior lighting fixtures shall comply with the zoning regulations and as specified above. 4, in granting this approval, the Commission has relied on information and documentation submitted by the applicant and consultants, and if this information proves to be false, deceptive, incomplete, and or inaccurate, the permit may be modified, suspended, or revoked. 5, compliance with the general conditions of approval, if any, attached hereto and made part of hereof. 6, the special permit for this property remains in full force and effect, except as specifically modified by this approval of reasonable accommodations, which reasonable accommodations shall be valid only for as long as said reasonable accommodations remain necessary. Special conditions of approval. 1, commencing on October 1st, 2025, and annually thereafter, the property owner shall file a certification under oath with the Brookfield Land Use Office that the owner membership and or tenant membership includes persons with disabilities who require the reasonable accommodations approved in this resolution. And 2, in the event that the reasonable accommodations approved in this resolution are no longer necessary, or there's a failure to properly certify same, the Brookfield Zoning Commission shall review the matter and may terminate the reasonable accommodations. And finally, reason for the decision. In evaluating this application and rendering this decision, the Commission took into account all evidence and testimony presented to it by the applicants and others, weighed all of that evidence and testimony carefully, and reviewed the standards required to be applied to this application under ADA. The Commission concludes that, as conditioned by this approval, the approved reasonable accommodations are consistent with the requirement of the ADA. The Commission has relied on technical comments submitted by professional consultants, town officials, and staff in determining this application. So that is the resolution.
Point of clarification.
Yes.
You kept referring to the southeasternmost parking space. I think we should say that's the proposed southeasternmost parking space. That's not an existing one, is right?
Yes, that's non-existing. I was referenced on the plan.
I know that,
Yeah,
yeah, so
yeah.
I just want to make sure that's not.
Yep,
one
we're
that's not
talking-
one-
it's not-
We're not taking one away that's there now.
No, no, we're
taking one away
taking one
from
that's
the
proposed.
proposal.
Exactly. All right, so that's basically the consensus we came up with for this. The lawyer
I
did.
think that reflects it. I think that reflects the federal statute language. I'm going to make a
Yeah.
motion to approve
Uh,
application Z-24-38202 Candlewood Lake Road with the stipulations as articulated by the chairman.
All right, do I have a second?
I second that.
All right, thank you, Sean. And any discussion on the motion?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would like to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that we have gone perhaps hastily and maybe a bit cavalier into this. And I have questions and I have comments, and I need clarification because there was a lot that was said. We've had many papers and books and folders that we've had to digest.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't discuss much of anything, especially since this has gone on for about 10 years, a problem between the Slovak Gymnastics Union, Sokol Lodge number 30, and the town of Brookfield. And starting in 2014 and 2021 and 2022 and 2023 last year, there are applications for increasing the parking, and also their application for a change of zoning have been denied by the zoning board of appeals, the courts, the appellate court, and even they were denied petition to the Supreme Court.
Not, well, the Connecticut, this is just Connecticut. and
Okay.
town.
Point of order, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman?
yeah.
Can't we, I think we can only talk about the application
Yeah.
currently in front of us.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about it.
Well, we're
We're talking
talking
about
about the,
appellate
only
cases and
only
everything
the
else.
motion.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you're moving to approve it.
Yes, because
Right.
this is federal law we're talking about.
I understand.
Anything that
And
happens.
it may or may not, as Attorney Beecher said in the zoning, his letter to the zoning commission stated the courts may have held that the ADA may preempt local zoning, may. And also the case that he cited, the Forest City Daily Housing Inc. versus North Hempstead, actually ended with the district court and the appellate court ruling in favor of the town. And the judge's conclusion stated that reasonable accommodations are not required where comparable opportunities for persons without disabilities have not been shown to exist. The ADA's requirements do not negate the need for proper variance process. And to me, the existing stipulations at 202 Candlewood Lake Road do not discriminate between persons of ability or are not.
Well,
So,
you know, yeah.
and also, if it's passed, we have zoning regulations. And what's to stop if you change from 6, I mean, they said, it was even stated in the appeal. The appeal was sustained in 2019 for parking for 30 cars on the property is invalid because a claim of need for additional parking was self-inflicted, so we have
So,
dealt with
but
this in
Yeah, but
self-inflicted.
that's Connecticut state law.
also, yes.
That's not federal law.
And also, the
This is a different set of standards.
Connecticut Office of Legislative Resources, if you look at that, I'm not sure that that the ADA covers residential and private club.
The federal courts do not decide constitutional questions or anything of the sort if they can be disposed of on state grounds. The ADA is not something that can be disposed of on state grounds. Therefore, the Connecticut Office of Legislative Research really can't come into play under this question. If we didn't have the ADA involved, it might, Gwen, but in this case, it can't.
Yeah, I know your
Well, we haven't
dissension
been
on it.
shown a legal precedent for
We
this.
most certainly have
Yeah.
been
No, we
shown a
haven't.
legal precedent. We most certainly
did?
have.
They
Mr.
brought up-
Beecher did
no,
not do
no,
that.
the,
He
uh,
most
applicant.
certainly did. He cited the ADA to you. If we deny this application, which the commission, I thought, had a
Yeah,
consensus
we do have
last
a
time that we
consensus,
could not.
so
We
Okay.
could not deny the application.
I'm just
Therefore-
trying to keep us from putting the town in legal jeopardy.
Oh,
That's exactly
I think
what
that's
we're
what
trying to
happened.
avoid.
I think
Because of
if
the-
we
it's
wind
going
up-
to
I
happen.
think we'll call the question.
If we
then,
wind
just,
up, no, I gotta address this point.
All right.
There's a couple of points. First of all, if we did wind up in the federal court of the District of Connecticut, first thing that would happen was it would not be KERMA funded because it involves the ADA. And if you wind up with a civil rights violation, you have to pay plaintiffs legal fees and costs. That case in Hempstead you cited did not consider either of those questions. That's the first point. Second thing is, I don't think this application was hastily rushed into at all. I've seen more evidence, I've seen more testimony, I've seen more reading material, and I've spent hours of my own time reading through it and watching it
As
too.
have I.
So, but I don't think to say, after months on end, where we had one meeting in July and one meeting in August, that we're rushing into anything. I think. the
Well, we've
commission
been
is-
listening.
I
We've
think-
been listening to people, excuse me, Mr. Grimes.
I was
let
talking, you
speak a
interrupted
lot.
me.
It's my turn.
Oh, thanks. Go ahead.
I've listened to a lot of people speak for many hours. I do not get paid to read these many reams of papers or to deliberate like this. But I was here last year when I had to deliberate about this. First of all, it's the Slovak Club, and the judge. The judge,
But
when
you're
it went
talking
to court.
about, you're talking about legal standards that have no bearing on what we're doing tonight. Before it was appropriate that I believe it got turned down, but tonight it is not.
But they
It's
have
a
to
different
still
s-
abide by.
No, they do
It
not.
may.
No.
He said
See,
it may.
We have come to a.
It may preempt. It may or it may
The
not.
majority of the commission tonight has felt that they have proven their case and have, they fulfilled the three pillars.
Did
And-
they?
Yes.
Well, the
And
third
that's what-
pillar.
Well, it's, the three of
The
us.
third pillar-
Four of us actually felt
Well,
that way.
I didn't.
And I think we should bring it to a vote, so we, you're
Re-
noted that your dissension on this.
Well, I'm just explaining what I am confused about and what I have questions about. Because when you expand parking, you intensify the use of the
It
property.
doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter.
It
This
does
is
if
fe-
it concerns the zoning,
No,
if it concerns the area.
the federal
And the-
government and ADA have you can't look at that specifically. I asked that question specifically. We can't consider it. It's unfortunate, I know, and I don't like to see that area get, too much, which is why we
It's
turned
gonna
them
be a
down.
parking lot.
But there's,
And how
but
does
we
that
cannot
help?
consider it now.
And how does that help the residential property?
We can't consider that.
And also, how do they, if it is a parking lot, how do you landscape in conjunction with the
None of
rest
that
of it?
matters. The only thing that matters is three things they've proven, and that's it. It's unfortunate, if someone wants to change the law that was, voted and signed in 1990,
Okay.
then they can bring it to Supreme Court, but right
So,
now.
so let me ask you, you said that the stipulations that held for 35 years are now illegal.
No, the stipulations are underneath this. This layers on top. As soon as they don't have the reasonable accommodation need anymore, then that's the end of
A
the.
reasonable accommodation. So if the stipulations don't hold, then does the special permit
No,
hold?
you misunderstand. The special permit stipulations are still there underneath. This supersedes them, it trumps them.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
can I simplify this maybe in terms of, it's so important to understanding zoning, and I'll channel my inner Stanley Parker and Alan Sniffen, both of whom we just lost. If an application, every application that comes before this commission has to be treated fairly. It has to be treated differently than anything that came before it, even if it involved the same property. If an application meets the zoning regs, and there's a basis in law, it's going to be approved. If it does not, it's going to be denied. To the extent that this commission can put stipulations on an application, it does that. And that's what we've done now.
Yeah.
And now the vote is before the commission, and I call the question.
But the
I
stipulation.
call the question.
Yeah.
But the stipulation is basically for perpetuity.
No, it
Because-
isn't.
Well,
All in
Call the
favor?
question.
Aye.
the 1989 stipulation.
Call the question.
All against?
I second that.
What?
Call the question.
Oh, yeah, all right. All in
Vote.
favor of calling the question?
Aye.
All right. All in favor of the resolution as I've stated?
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
All right, one against, Gwen Arment is against, and that's it, 3-1. The motion passes. And your dissension is noted, so, thank you. All right, AA, proposed meeting calendar. Please make sure you leave quietly, because the meeting's still going on. Thank you. Now, did you guys? Oh, you have a calendar.
Yeah, well, it was, Amy sent it.
Gonna be candlelit.
I didn't print it out.
Oh,
Okay, so,
want me to summarize what
Yeah,
it
yeah.
says? So it's, before the end of every calendar year, each commission has to file with the town clerk
Yeah.
a calendar for the following year. So this follows our general pattern of the second and fourth Thursdays of the month.
yep,
I would propose a couple of suggested changes. First of all, and they do this every year, so December 11th, we can't put on this agenda because there is no more zoning commission after
Oh,
December
yeah.
1st.
all right, yep.
So we can only go up to November. But what I would suggest, and we did this in the past, I would suggest we add July 24th and August 28th to this calendar, and then if there's not business, the chairman is well within the prerogative to cancel the meeting, as with any of these regular meetings.
Right.
If we decide February 27th we don't have enough business, the meeting could be canceled. But I'd rather put the meetings down than having to schedule a special meeting or be stuck like we were this summer here till 11:30 one night. So,
Yep.
so I would just propose the following amendments to this, in motioning to approve this calendar, and that's adding July 24th,
Mhm.
August 28th, and removing December 11th.
All right,
And just in having some conversations with other towns that have done this, we may need to add a special meeting or two in November before the commissions turn over.
Oh.
But that would be a special meeting though, so.
Yep.
But for the regular calendar, I'm saying add the 24th, add of July, add the 28th of August, take away December 11th.
okay. Also, just a note, school vacation this year is April 14th through 18th, so it doesn't impact our schedule.
Correct, yep.
All right.
Where, I don't have it.
Oh,
Oh,
I don't know. So it's basically that.
Well, we'll get it,
It's
right?
second and fourth, yeah, second and fourth, all the way through the year, except for November.
And December like this year.
Yeah,
So
December.
it's
we're not
December,
gonna have
December
it.
1st, the commission,
November
Yeah,
and
we
December.
won't have a, so the zoning commission and planning commission merge.
Yes,
So we don't have a December meeting. 'cause
Right.
We won't exist
and I'll be done.
this coming year.
yeah.
Not 2024, 2025.
I would also suggest too, maybe we don't do it as part of the regular calendar, but at some point in 2025, we're probably, I would suggest we have to have periodic sit-downs with the planning commission before the merge.
Yeah, the next.
Very, very important.
Okay.
They could be workshop sessions or whatever set up by land use.
So is that a motion?
Yeah, so the
all right.
motion is to approve the proposed 2025 zoning commission meeting dates with the following changes, adding
Yep.
July 24th, August 28th, removing December 11th.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, thank you. Any discussion? Anything changed from that? No, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and that was unanimous. All right, tabled items 9A, that doesn't come until October 24th, which we had pushed back last time. Draft fee schedule, we're going to push that because we want to get these other regs done to make that make sense.
So this is,
That's not tonight. It said,
Okay.
they pushed it to October 24th.
okay,
Yeah.
I won't be here.
They have to,
I won't be here for the remainder of the year.
oh, okay. Wow. October 24th.
It's the Brookfield
Oh, yeah,
House.
they were going to wetlands. Yeah, they had to wait till.
Yeah, they are.
wetlands.
But we're meeting at, for anybody watching, we're meeting at the high school on
Oh,
the 24th.
that's
It's on
right.
the bottom of the
Yeah. So high school where? Like in the Board of Ed?
Board of Ed meeting room, I
Is
believe.
that
Yeah,
the library or
The school
something?
library, yeah.
Oh, is that? Okay.
Wherever the Board of Ed meets usually.
Yeah, all right.
Because there'll be voting going on in here.
10, Commissioner comments and formal discussion.
I do think that we need to be a little bit more proactive on the fee schedule. We've talked about it a while, and now, I mean, I would like to see us get something in the works before the end
Well,
of the year.
that's kind of linked with this.
It is, okay.
Because these regs disconnect the fee schedule with our regs, so we can change it.
Correct, okay.
Yeah, so Laura wanted to wait until that happened.
That's fine.
And so if we vote on that next week, then we can start talking and work up those numbers.
That's good.
All right, anything else? All right, take a motion to adjourn.
So
Move to
moved.
adjourn?
Thank you. Glenn, a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we adjourned at